Hand selection. All right. So hand selection, talking about four betting in position. I'm very overgeneralizing here. You want to have more blockers. Out of position, you want to have more equity, because when you four bet out of position, it is more likely, or the likelihood of getting flat called by your opponent is higher as if you would four bet in position. Just it's due to the fact that your opponent has position on you, so he can flat more hands. So we really want to take care that our opponent is not our opponent, that we have enough equity in case we're going to play a 4-bet pot post flop. If we're in position, it is less likely that we're going to play a post flop. So it's more likely that our opponent 3-bets and then 5-bet jams on us. So we want to 4-bet with hands that block his 5-bet jamming range. So remember what I've been teaching you earlier. The earlier we are sitting, or the earlier our opponent is 3-betting against us. So if we're opening from MP or EP, his range is usually stronger, or his bluffs are also stronger. So that means our bluffs we are 4-betting with should also be stronger. Apparently, the shorter we get, the lighter we go for value, hence we can add more bluffs. With 100 big blinds, we basically 4-bet only with kings and aces, so we only have only a very few bluffs. Full speculative hands with 40 bigs and less. If you face a 4-bet, don't continue with those hands unless you're on the button, he's 3-betting or cut off, and he's 3-betting relatively small, and then we can peel those hands. Relatively small means, remember what I've been teaching you, which sizing you should apply. And I don't want to repeat it again and again and again, because if you made the homework, if you applied all the stuff I've been teaching in the 3-bet course, then you know what 3-bet sizing to apply. And if I'm saying, again, if someone is doing it relatively small, he's 3-betting less than I would suggest you. So anything smaller than that, you should apparently also increase your calling range against the 3-bet sizing. Remember, my goal is always to give you numbers or to show you real examples, not just saying, yeah, you can be looser, you can be tighter. No. This might just confuse you. You don't really know how to approach it, how to apply the stuff, so that you always know, okay, I should do it like this or this, and not like this. All right, so let's take a look how our ranges should look like. So let's start with under the gun. And I know many colors, but it's the same system again and again. So we have those red hands as a 4-bet bluff. By the way, don't get confused here. The very top hand range selection MP2. Here, range 100 big blinds under the gun is what is important here. So this is our open raising range, and the light red hands we are 4-betting for value. I just changed it. It was a 4-bet bluff, but obviously the light reds are 4-bet for value. If we are, and here you can see the dark red, or what is it, violet. I'm not a color specialist. What kind of color is it? I don't know. So we are 4-betting ace king, suited ace king off, and queens with less than 40 big blinds. If we are deeper, we just call from under the gun. Yet even with 50 big blinds and less, you can also just jam it. If you don't feel comfortable playing post flop, you can just go all in with queens, ace king if you face a 4-bet, but usually you should just call it, and then you have a fairly strong range from under the gun. The dark green hands are hands we are calling a 3-bet against, even if you're out of position. And additionally, if someone 3-bets from the blinds, we are also calling these hands. So if someone is 3-betting from cutoff button and P, we are folding queen jack suited objectives because we are out of position. And if we have more than 40 big blinds, we should call ace king off, ace king suited, and queens. Same for jacks and tens, right? But here, if we have less than 30 big blinds, we just jam jacks and tens. The same apparently also for ace king, queens, and ace king suited. So if you don't find a hand in the flat calling range and it says 4-bet jamming less than 30 big blinds, That means, okay, if you have 30 big blinds or more, it's a calling hand, as easy as that. And what to do with, let's say, less than 25, 20 big blinds, this is part of the course, how to react against rejams. So you know, okay, what hands you should go broke with. Let's say someone is rejamming 20, 25 big blinds. Can I go broke with nines, ace jack suited? So this is more part of the short stack section. So in case we want to 4-bet bluff, so here you can see ace 10 suited is a potential hand you can 4-bet bluff with. And in case someone is 3-betting us from MP or hijack, this is a hand you can 4-bet bluff with. If you face a 3-bet from the blinds, you should call ace 10 suited, and you should choose either ace 9 suited or king 10 suited. The thing is, we don't want to bluff 4-bet that much anyway, because especially when we're deeper, we have only aces and kings, and this is only 9%, 0.9% of our range. So 4-bet bluffing with only one hand is totally enough. And this is around 0.6%, which is a good ratio. Remember, 3-betting, 4-betting, you most of the time you want to have more value hands in your range. And here we're 4-betting ace 10 suited out of position because it has more equity compared to ace 9 or king 10 suited in case we get called. You can add a hand like ace jack off if someone is, for example, 3-betting more than 5-6% from MP, then you can add those hands, this hand here as well. So let's take a look into our under the gun plus run range. You see it's basically similar. I forgot to mark the 4-bet bluffs in position. So as you can see here, it's not changing that much. Additionally, we're calling queen jack suited against a 3-bet, but other than that, it is very similar to the under the gun range at all. This is our under the gun plus 2 range. You see now we are open raising more hands, and now we have a few more candidates we can 4-bet bluff with. Let's say we are facing a 3-bet from the blinds in position. Again, we want to block his 5-bet range, so ace x hands are very good. And if we face a 3-bet out of position, we are out of position, then we should choose ace 9, ace 8 suited, just because it has more equity in case we get called. But the difference, or it's very marginal. The equity are very close together. But in case our opponent likes to flat a hand like 10-9 suited or jack-9 suited, 9-8 suited against our 4-bet, we just have more equity with a hand like ace-9 suited because there are a few combos which we have dominated. But if it's your opponent makes it too small, you can just also only call these kind of hands here. Yeah, and same spiel here. Queens, we start 4-betting now with less than 50 big blinds. We 4-bet jam. Ace queen, jacks and 10s with less than 30 big blinds. Also, we should also jam pocket 9s. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And ace king, we also start, we're 4-betting ace king with 40 big blinds less. Again, you can, it's totally reasonable to 4-bet jam it with less than 50 big blinds. One thing I have to mention here, which is really important now, I really want you to pay attention. So let's say we have around 50 big blinds, or let's say 40 big blinds. So we start 4-betting ace king and queens, and let's see how much we are 4-betting for value. And this is 0.45 plus aces and kings, which is 0.9. So 0.9 plus 0.45 is 1.35. And pocket queens as well. No, sorry, ace king. Where's ace king? Here, 1.21. So we have value 3-betting around 2.5% of the time. So that means we can bluff around 1 to 1.2% of the time. So here you can see that if we are in position, 4-betting as a bluff these hands is totally reasonable. Yet you should always be tighter. So mixing it up a bit and 4-betting ace deuce to ace 5 suited 50% of the time is is totally reasonable. So I'm gonna mark this, and then we 4-bet ace-5, ace-4 suited, ace-3 suited, ace-2 suited, 50% of the time, which is 0.6. And then we add an ace-9, ace-8 suited. We can also add ace-9, ace-8 suited, but maybe we should be a little bit more, maybe like this. And then we 4-bet against the blinds around 1%. But again, I can tell you from my experience, if someone is 3-betting from the blinds against under the gun, usually they're not that light. So be very careful and rather be more on the tighter side. So let's say if a GTO strategy advises you to 4-bet bluff 1.2% of the time and go for value 2.5% of the time, I would always advise to go a bit tighter and 4-bet bluff less, because in general people are not 3-bet bluffing that much against under the gun anyway. Yeah, and if you have 100 big blinds and we're 3-betting only aces, kings, same should be here. You can only 4-bet bluff around 0.6% of the time, because our 4-bet broke range is only 0.9%. So that means we should only 4-bet as a bluff. Sorry. We should 4-bet as a bluff. Yeah, also pretty tight. So maybe around 0.4%. So just an ace-5 or ace-5 suited here and there. That's pretty much it. If you're in position, if you're out of position, also just ace-9 suited 50% of the time and ace-8 suited 100% of the time, or the other way around. So what I want to try to teach you, and this is a little bit more complex, I know it really depends on your stack size. If you're deeper, you have less value 4-bets, hence you should bluff 4-bet less. If you're getting shorter, 50, 40 big blinds, you start 4-betting more for value. That means you can also add more 4-bet bluffs. This is how you should approach the game. So I'm not going to go through all of the ranges. This is, for example, the cutoff here. Now you can see that we also 4-betting ace-jack off here and there. We're calling 3-bets with out of position down to pocket 5s. Yet, remember, here you have to apply the knowledge I've been teaching you earlier. If we have less than 40 big blinds, we are folding the low pocket pairs deuces to 6, even though we are not even though we are out of position, especially when we are out of position. In position, we should always also let go of these low pocket pairs and start calling with 7s and better. If you are around 40 bigs and you're playing as someone who is fairly aggressive, it's also totally reasonable to go all in with low pocket pairs. This is but this is part of one of the next slides where we'll show you, okay, what hands to 4-bet jam with. This is MP, not cutoff. That was my bad. So how does the button range look like? Let's take a look. So here you can see how our range from the button should look like, and especially our 4-bet bluffing range. I mean, here we are always in position, and especially when you're deeper, so that your opponent can also flat call here and there. But again, it's very likely you should rather 4-bet these kind of hands instead of these kind of hands here. Queen 8 suited is also reasonable. We block queens, block ace queen, but here the suited kings are really good, or an off-suited king. But the thing is, off-suited combos always so much that your frequencies might get out of line. Again, if you're 100 big blinds deep, we're only 4-betting aces kings anyway, so we're only 4-betting a few king 8, king 7 suited combos anyway, and you should be tight against the big blind also anyway. But you will see it really quick if someone has a very high 3-bet stat from the big blind, and you should have more than 200 hands for that, by the way. Then you can go fairly loose with those suited kings, because they play pretty bad in a 3-bet pot anyway, but they're pretty good as a 4-bet bluff. Alright, yeah, then you have cutoff, small blind, also all the other ranges, and I'm gonna put it in frequencies for you guys that you know, okay, what should be game theoretical. One thing you have to apply by yourself is the stack size. I already explained it. The deeper you are, the less you have to 4-bet bluff. The shorter you are, that means you go more for value with more hands. Then you can also add more bluffs, as easy as that.